Inshallah, today is one of those rainy days. It's actually a rainy day not because of anything else, but because we don't have a parable for today. The juz today is pretty much free from parables. But because we have been saving since the beginning of Ramadan, so you're not going to run away. We have already 30 parables. We're covered for the whole month, alhamdulillah. And today's parable is again from Surah An-Nur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in Surah An-Nur, but here is a parable for those who have disbelieved in God. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَعْمَالُهُمْ كَسَرَابٍ بِقِيعَةٍ. Their works are like a mirage in a leveled plain. The thirsty man thinks it is water until when he approaches it, he finds it that nothing lusted in the hereafter, or he finds that it is nothing. Instead, in the hereafter, he shall find only God there. Then he will render his wicked account in full. وَالَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا أَعْمَالُهُمْ كَسَرَابٍ بِقِيعَةٍ يَحْسَبُهُ الظَّمْآنُ مَاءً حَتَّى إِذَا جَاءَهُ لَمْ يَجِدْهُ شَيْئًا وَوَجَدَ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ فَوَفَّاهُ حِسَابًا. The disbelievers in the days of Jahiliyyah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the Quran mentioning the good deeds of the believers and saying the believers give the zakah, they feed the poor, they help those who are in distress, they do all of these things. وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا يُقِيمُونَ الصَّلَاةَ يُؤْتُونَ الزَّكَاةَ يُطِيعُونَ اللَّهَ وَرَسُولَهُ. The disbelievers got jealous. So they were not silent. So what did they say? They said, we also do good deeds. We feed the poor and the needy. And actually the people, the disbelievers in Jahiliyyah, they used to feed the poor and the needy. They were not completely deprived of good deeds. They were people of generosity. They were people of bravery. They were people of muwasa, sympathy and solidarity. They were people of they were people of chastity. Sometimes they were people of chastity. One of them praised another by saying, لا يمسك الفحشاء تحت ثيابه. He doesn't withhold indecency underneath his clothing, meaning he doesn't do anything indecent. And they actually used to praise each other for being generous. One of them, a man who died in Jahiliyyah before Islam, he was a brother of As-Sayyidah Al-Khansa radiallahu anha. As-Sayyidah Al-Khansa Tumadar bint Amr, she was a Sahabiyya. She accepted Islam. And she was a female, a lady poet. In Jahiliyyah, her brother Sakhr died. He was killed or died. So she started writing poetry in praise of him. And one of the famous lines she said about him is, وَإِنَّ صَخْرًا لَتَأْتَمُّ الْهُدَاةُ بِهِ كَأَنَّهُ عَلَمٌ فِي رَأْسِهِ نَارٌ. Sakhr is a guide to mankind, just like a mountain with a fire lit on top. In Jahiliyyah, they used to make a fire on top of the mountain so that if you're traveling in the dark desert, you know that there are human beings there, so you can go and eat. So this was their way. And actually, they used to praise a person who has got huge ashes. You know, when you make a fire, and the ashes that are left, the more ashes you have, indicates that you have got a lot of guests, right? In hadith, in Al-Bukhari, hadith Zar, a woman praised her husband by saying, زوجي عظيم الرماد رفيع النجاد طويل العماد قريب البيت من الناد. My husband is a very tall man, very strong. His tent is very high and he's got a lot of ashes. Another woman praised her husband by saying, زوجي مالك ما مالك مالك خير من ذلك له إبل قليلات المسارح كثيرات المبارك وإن سمعنا صوت المزهر أيقن أنهن هوالك. My husband, his name is Malik. What shall I tell you about Malik? Malik is better than anybody else. He's got sheep that don't go to the field a lot, they stay around the house because they need to be slaughtered for feeding the guests. وَإِن سَمِعْنَا صَوْتَ الْمِزْهَرِ. Mizhar in Arabic is the tambourine, you know, this musical tool. They used to play the duff or the tambourine when guests come. When a guest comes, that's why the Prophet ﷺ was welcomed in Medina by طَلَعَ الْبَدْرُ عَلَيْنَا. They played the tambourine. So when a guest comes, they play the tambourine welcoming him. So the ibil, the camels, became so accustomed to the sound of the tambourine that every time the tambourine is played, the ibil, the camels will realize one of us will be slaughtered. They know that the tambourine knows that the guests are coming. وَإِن سَمِعْنَا صَوْتَ الْمِزْهَرِ أَيْقَنَّ أَنَّهُنَّ هَوَالِكَ. When they hear the noise of the mizhar, the noise of the tambourine, they are sure that they will be killed. So look at this, how they were so generous. But all of this happened because of what? What was the intention behind it? Was it for the sake of Allah? No, it was for the sake of fame. It was for the sake of ego. It was for the sake of being told that this man is generous, this man is brave. We know icons of bravery in Jahiliyyah. Antar al-Absi, Labid ibn Rabi'a, loads of people, Taraf ibn al-Abd. We know icons of fastness in Jahiliyyah, al-Shamfara, al-Salik ibn al-Salaka, loads of individuals who were great in their good deeds. Actually, there was a man in Jahiliyyah who was called Samsara. And this man, Samsara, was like a charity organization. We know that Arabs used to practice burying their girls, their daughters alive, right? This man, Samsara, he used to buy these girls. So he would pay the father the money, and he would give him anything, and he would take the girl, not to enslave her, but to grow her up and just look after her. He saved about 400 people. And his great-grandson accepted Islam, Sayyidina Amir ibn Sa'sa'a. So when he came to the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ praised Sa'sa'a. There was a man called Hatim al-Ta'i. We know him. Hatim al-Ta'i is the icon of generosity. The Prophet ﷺ said to his daughter, Safana bint Hatim al-Ta'i, he said to her, if your father was alive, we would have asked Allah to forgive him. But your father was a good man. Inna abaha yuhibbu makarim al-akhlaq. Her father used to love good character. So Arabs were not completely deprived of that. But because good character in them was not done because of real purpose, because of Allah, it was done just for the sake of showing off. It was done for the sake of writing their names in the books of history as individuals who have done this and I have done that. And they used to boast with their poets, with their fighters, with their knights. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to them, their deeds are like a mirage. When you're walking in the desert and you see a mirage in front of you, what happens? You're thirsty and you see in front of you mirage. You think you see the glittering light from a rock. You think it's water, isn't it? So because they are not clear and they're looking for any opportunity, they think that their deeds are like this mirage. They think it's water, it's of any benefit. But when they come to it, when will they come to it, brothers and sisters? In Akhirah. In Akhirah, they will come to realize whether these deeds were actually deeds or were just deception. As they say, سَتَعْلَمُ حِينَ يَنْكَشِفُ الْغُبَارُ أَفَرَسٌ تَحْتُكَ أَمْ حِمَارُ. When someone is in the battlefield and he's riding a mount, he doesn't know if it's a donkey or it's a horse, because there is a lot of dust and there is a lot of fighting, right? So they say when the dust goes away, you will know if it's a donkey or it's a horse, right? You don't actually know. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them that, look, you think that these deeds will be of any benefit? These deeds are like this mirage. You think it's water, but when you come to it, you will realize that it's nothing. حتى إذا جاء, when they come to it, لم يجده شيئا. They will find that it is nothing. وَوَجَدَ اللَّهَ عِنْدَهُ. In fact, they will find the angels of Allah there. They will find as if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is waiting for them there to catch them and to seize them and to punish them and to hold them accountable. This teaches us, brothers and sisters, because of the time constraints, that we have to care very much about our intention. About our intention and about our purpose. Why do you do what you're doing? Is it for the sake of showing off, or is it really for the sake of Allah? We narrate with our unbroken chin back to Sayyidina Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala an, from Imam al-Bukhari. Hadith is in Bukhari. This is the first hadith narrated in the 6 compilations of hadith. Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Laythi from Alqama ibn Waqqas. Yahya ibn Sa'id al-Ansari from Alqama ibn Waqqas al-Laythi, from Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu an, that the Prophet ﷺ قال سمعت رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يقول إنما الأعمال بالنيات. Actions are judged by intentions. وإنما لكل امرئ ما نوى. Everyone shall have what he has intended. فمن كانت هجرته إلى الله ورسوله فهجرته إلى الله ورسوله. If your migration is for Allah and His Messenger, if your deeds are for Allah and His Messenger, that will be rewarded accordingly. ومن كانت هجرته لدنيا يصيبها. If you are traveling for dunya, for money, for women, for praise, for reputation. When you give, we're coming to the last 10 days of Ramadan, where people give. You should think immensely before you give. Are you giving so that people will say, you know what, mashallah, this brother is very generous, he gives. Honestly, I completely dislike people when they say, so and so has given this much money. You should not need to do that. One of the 7 people who will be shaded in the protection of Allah on the Day of Judgment is a man who gives charity with his right hand that his left hand doesn't know. So we have to care about our intentions, we have to care about our purpose, we have to care about our dedication. If it is actually for the sake of Allah, then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it a huge mountain on the Day of Judgment. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُرْبِي لِأَحَدِكُمْ صَدَقَتَهُ كَمَا يُرْبِي أَحَدُكُمْ فُلُوَّهُ. That Allah will grow your own charity in the same way as you grow a small horse to become a big horse. So on the Day of Qiyamah, when you come, you will find something big and you will say, I didn't do that. And Allah will say, we have grown it for you. That's the best investment, to invest with Allah, not to invest with anybody else. Inshallah, tonight we're reading Surah Al-Rum. وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن رِّبًا لِيَرْبُوَ فِي أَمْوَالِ النَّاسِ. When you give money to grow in the money of people, interest, فَلَا يَرْبُو عِنْدَ اللَّهِ. It doesn't grow with Allah. وَمَا آتَيْتُم مِّن زَكَاةٍ. And when you give zakah, but what is the condition? تُرِيدُونَ وَجْهَ اللَّهِ. That it has to be for the sake of Allah. It has to be for the pleasure of Allah. It has to be for credit with Allah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us that there could be people whom no one knows about, but on the Day of Qiyamah, they are known with Allah. وَآخَرِينَ مِن دُونِهِمْ لَا تَعْلَمُونَهُمْ. You don't know them. Allahu يَعْلَمُهُمْ. Allah knows them. It's enough for you that Allah knows you. So inshallah, we leave you with this, inshallah ta'ala, clarity of intention. وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم.